Hey guys, it's currently 2 in the fucking morning, and I woke up and I decided to choose violence, so let's fucking go. I don't know why this is a fucking hot take, because I thought people actually were intelligent, but, Tom Holland isn't playing Peter Parker, and never really played Peter Parker, and it took No Way Home to even get as close to him actually being a comic accurate Peter Parker. And I'm going to explain why. Alright, so Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man is more aligned with the Ultimate Comics. But not the Ultimate Comics you believe. Not Peter Parker from 1610. No. He's more aligned with Miles Morales. And I think this has been talked around so many freaking times, but god fucking damn it, I'm going to say it. And I think I also talked about it multiple different times too, and I'm probably beating at the dead horse, but I want to explain why me as a Spider-Man fan. And I will tell you this, I've been a Spider-Man fan since I learned how to fucking read. I started reading the comic books when I learned to read. The first comic books I ever started reading was the Ultimate Comics, specifically Ultimate Spider-Man and Ultimate Fantastic Four. And then I started reading 616 comic books later on. So this is going to explain to you why I'm so bugged by this. Alright? So let me lay the groundwork for you. Spider-Man, when he first appeared in Amazing Fantasy, he was a wallflower. He was a nerd, he was bullied, he was an outcast. He used to get picked on for, him being intelligent. And then suddenly he got bit by a radioactive spider. But, instead of, wanting to be a superhero, he used it to try to get money, get fortune. So he originally tested out his powers on, a wrestler. He started his gig wrestling. That didn't turn out well. An agent came up to him and it's like, hey, you can make better money being in the show business. Okay, so he made a new suit, made some web shooters, and then he got the name The Amazing Spider-Man. Right? But during one of the shows, a mugger mugged some dude and then ran past him. I'm just giving you synopsis. I'm not going into detail because of it. Because why the fuck should I? You guys should already know the story. But what happened was he didn't, stop him. So the mugger went on the run, and then you didn't hear from him later until when Peter gets home. When Peter gets home, it turns out that same mugger ended up killing his Uncle Ben, which, consequence to his action of letting him go. But when Peter came after him, Peter's thought process was to kill the mugger. But when he found out that it was the guy who killed his Uncle Ben, he found out he could have stopped it originally. He could have stopped this originally. And then he found out with great power must come great responsibility. That's the basic synopsis of his superpower, of him being Spider-Man. His first issue of him being, the first Spider-Man issue, he was trying to join the Fantastic Four. Because Marvel's first family, he wanted to join a team that he could trust. He considered other superheroes equals to him. He wasn't idolizing these superheroes, but later down the line, the Fantastic Four did consider him basically family further down the line. But you see this version of Spider-Man wasn't going like, ooh, Mr. Stark, oh, ooh, Mr. Rogers. No. See, he respected these guys. Like, he idolized Captain America, but he wasn't talking like he was a fanboy. Because he wasn't a fanboy. These guys were equals to him. Hell, a lot of these guys didn't really like him because Peter was kind of an asshole. Normally, Peter was always technically an asshole. He was an asshole to the criminals. He was assholes to certain police officers. He was an asshole to J. Jonah Jameson. And the only reason why he was an asshole to him is because they were an asshole towards him. But a lot of characters like Iron Man and Captain America respected him because they knew what he was doing, and they know that he he was just a kid. In all technicality, he was just a kid. I mean, a lot of us kids were just dicks because you were a dick to us. You know, it kind of made sense. And it's also a common thing in the modern day, too. Where, you know, where you say fuck you to a kid's gotta say fuck you back. Not like how most adults would do. You say fuck you to an adult will normally would just go, you're not worth it, and then walk away. Most of the time. I'm going to say most time because I'm not going to assume that you're one of those adults because, you know, I'm assuming that when I'm talking about adult, I'm assuming when you think when I'm talking about adult, I'm talking about standard adult. No, I'm talking about an adult with maturity. But, okay, so that's one synopsis. Yes, technically Spider-Man's costume was red and black in the comic books, but that was later retconned because of the shadowing problem. Because Steve Ditko originally wanted Spider-Man's suit to be red and black because, you know, a little more menacing because Spider-Man was supposed to be creepy. He wasn't supposed to be this friendly neighborhood superhero. He was supposed to be a little creepy, okay? But that didn't stay the case, but, you know, due to, you know, shadowing, they couldn't make the suit black all the fucking time. They started adding blue as shadowing, and then more and more blue, and then bean bada boom, Spider-Man's suit been red and blue. And hell, Stan Lee even liked it more because he said it was more comic. It felt more iconic. He felt more like a superhero wearing red and blue. Alright? So that's something. So people are going to try to argue this pays homage to the whole red and black suit, like the red and black suit pays homage to Steve Ditko because he died around this time. I'm gonna say no, because it does not look like Steve Ditko's design in the end of the fucking day. Steve Ditko's design for Spider-Man had a very messy web pattern, a small spider, red lining on the sleeves, and red full gloves. Like, his suit didn't have fingerless gloves, like black fingerless gloves with red outlines to them. And it didn't have a white spider. Actually, if you look at the costume, the white spider was actually a light blue. It was a blue. But, you know, that's just me being picky because they're saying, oh, this is paying homage. No, it's not. No, it's fucking not. Honestly, this looks more like a suit that I've seen in the Amazing Spider-Man toy line where they made this weird, shiny black and red suit with a white spider on the chest and the back. Actually, no, I used to own that figure. I used to paint the spider black because it bugged me so much. Okay? Like, I used to grab a Sharpie, just doodle to, like, make the spider black! Okay? But, alright, back to the premise. So, in all technicality, if they were trying to pay homage to that design, they would have just, you know, kept the Homecoming suit, took off the straps, and just make the blue black, and then, you know, make that red spider into blue. Because the Homecoming suit got pretty damn close to the iconic Spider-Man design. It got pretty damn close. I'm 100% going to go hands down with that. Doesn't mean that it was iconic. It doesn't mean that he was still playing as, you know, Spider-Man because, well, Tom Holland was, you know, basically whitewashed Miles Morales. And yes, I am rambling because I am tired and I'm trying to keep myself awake. But, okay, let's go. So, that's the basis of the Spider-Man origin story, right? Alright, now 1610 Peter Parker. 1610 Peter Parker was an emo angsty teenager, basically same story around, but with, you know, a little more detail. Like, he actually fought back, he actually had an argument with Uncle Ben, and that kind of caused him to storm off, and that kind of caused Uncle Ben to get shot. It was later down the line, because there was actually more issues, like, you got to actually, you know, see Uncle Ben, you get to see Aunt May, you actually got to see how the dynamic was, because Spider-Man didn't technically become Spider-Man until issue 6 in that comic book. But, basic rundown, personality-wise, Peter was an emo angsty teenager in Ultimate Comics. He was very, very repulsive. Like, he was pissed off at everybody and everything. He wanted everyone to leave him alone. Like, he was the kind of guy that would punch Nick Fury in the face and then cuss out the fucking X-Men just because they remotely, tiny bit ruined his life a little bit. But he was still all around a good superhero. Now, the synopsis of Miles Morales. Synopsis of Miles Morales is, sheltered kid in a school. Like, in a school of geniuses. Because he got accepted in a school of geniuses. Right? Has 2 young, active parents in his life. Has a fat Asian best friend that loves Legos named Genki. And then Miles also idolized superheroes. And when a superhero died, he's like, oh my god. Well, give me 1 sec. I'm missing a step here because fucking Jesus fucking Christ, dog. Sorry, I'm not gonna edit this out because, I'm using a screen recorder. Because the dog's fucking around with something in there. I'm recording this in the fucking bathroom of all things, okay? But okay, so Miles gets bitten by a random spider, gets powers, right? Shows Genki it. Doesn't want to know how to talk to people. He's like, I could be a superhero. I could do what these other people do. I idolize superheroes. Let me become a superhero, right? And then Peter dies. Spider-Man dies, all right? And then afterwards, Miles realizes that he has a responsibility. He noticed how scary this can get. And now he wants to try to prove himself to be just as good as Spider-Man was in his world. Just to be good as he tries to prove himself to the Ultimates. He tries to prove himself to everybody. He proves himself to Nick Fury. Because he's trying to be a adult. Like, he's trying to be, like, in this superhero world, he's trying to adapt and try to be like these heroes that he idolizes so much. Sounds familiar, right? Sounds a lot like Tom Holland, right? Alright, now, I touched upon the Genki thing, but, like I said, look at the fucking suit, okay? It just looks like if Peter grabbed Miles' suit and then added extra red to it. This is basically a fucking Miles Morales suit. I'm sorry. They gave Miles Morales' personality to Peter Parker, of all fucking people. And don't get me started, because this is Ned Leeds in fucking 616 comics. This is Ned Leeds. Ned Leeds marries Betty Brant. Is a good friend of Peter. Not his best friend, but a good friend. Ned Leeds' main character arc is that he dies a lot. Like, he dies and then gives, like, a vague message to Peter. And it, helps him save the day. But yeah. This is Ned Leeds. Ned Leeds was also brainwashed to become the Hobgoblin one time. He wasn't an iconic Hobgoblin. Like, he wasn't the Hobgoblin. He was just brainwashed to think he was Hobgoblin. So that's something which people need to shut the fuck up about. If we're gonna get Hobgoblin in the fucking MCU, let it be Roger Kingsley. He makes a lot more sense, you stupid dumbasses. Quit looking at one small part in a fucking comic book and start saying you want to see it. Because it wasn't crucial at all. Sorry, it bugs me. Okay, now, this is Ned in the MCU. This is Genki in the Ultimate Comics. Now, let me tell you what Genki's whole deal is, because it probably changed. I haven't fully read anything recent lately about Miles Morales fully enough, but I will, give you the basis of the Ultimate version. Genki was Miles' best friend that used to hype him up, go, oh my god, you're a superhero, let's get you a costume, let's make you a superhero. And he also loves Legos. I mean, there could be a little more in depth to that, but, that's basically the premise of what you get from when you, first, look at him. And then when you first meet Ned's super duper hypey, he's super duper excitable, And, like, when he first finds out Peter's identity, you see him playing with Legos. Yeah, totally. You totally weren't, secretive about that one. This is Genki. This is Ned. This is Genki. This is Genki. This is Ned. Case closed on this one. This one's obvious. I'm gonna throw this out there. Okay. But, back to this whole Spider-Man thing. Is there a way that they could have adapted Spider-Man to, like, modernize him? Yes, there is. Is there a way to do that without turning him into Miles Morales? Fuck yeah! There was totally a way to do that. People are like, well, he lived in a world of superheroes. Every Spider-Man lived in a world full of superheroes. Every superhero was pre-established before Spider-Man was. You guys act like that Spider-Man was, one of those fuckers that didn't fucking... Oh my god, you guys use this as a fucking argument to justify him acting like Miles Morales, and you are idiots for doing it. I'm sorry, you are like fucking morons. Yes, superheroes were already established. Like, when Peter first started out, there was already a fucking Avengers, there was already fucking Fantastic Four, X-Men, Captain America existed. Captain America was even thawed around that time, too. Was he? No, he wasn't. He wasn't thawed by that time. But you guys get what I mean. They were already established. He lived in a world full of superheroes. And they were extremely well known. Like, you couldn't walk past Manhattan without seeing, like, Thor fighting the fucking Wrecking Crew. Okay? Oh my god, I get it. You guys are trying to, you guys want to, you guys want your guys' daddy, Tom Holland, to, fuck you in the asshole or something, but, you guys need to learn. He's not comic accurate. I mean, he's a good Spider-Man. I will give you guys that. He is a good Spider-Man. And you guys are probably gonna, badmouth me in the comments list, trying to attack me, saying, oh, you're not a Marvel fan, you're not a Spider-Man fan. I'm like, motherfucker, I've been probably reading Spider-Man comics before you even learned how to fucking shit in a toilet. Okay? But, I woke up choosing violence, so, this is what I get. You get what you pay for, right? But, the end of the day, is this a big deal? No. What's a big deal is how fans went about it. Because they flat out were like, oh my god, this is the most comic accurate Spider-Man. I'm like, dude, you guys never read a comic book then. You guys never read a fucking normal Spider-Man comic book. You guys probably only read Miles Morales then. Of all fucking things. He is yes, Tom Holland is a comic accurate Spider-Man, but not Peter Parker. But how would I have done it? How would I introduce this? Well, Civil War, he did pretty good well, But I would have cut the whole Mr. Stark shit, and I would have made Peter a little more foul-mouthed. And I would have made it so he would, actually talk to Tony, not like act like that. Mr. Daddy Stark is gonna, fuck me in the asshole so he can give me a new suit. No, fuck that shit. One of the most iconic scenes I would have seen is Peter going, whoa, this is pretty cool. You added a lot of shit to my suit. You hear Iron Man going, yeah, well, I want you to lay out the Vulture guy. Peter should have said, because it was established that he was, he was a superhero well before, start giving this fancy attack. He should have went, I was fighting crime before you gave me this fucking fancy suit, I've been doing this gig. I kind of know what the hell I'm doing. Like, and honestly, you've seen some potential in me. I don't know why you're trying to sideline me when I'm trying to do something that you would do. Because, by the way, keep this in mind. One of the most iconic things about Peter is he is a smartass. And, okay, I'm going to put it like this. And this would also kind of drive a wedge between Peter and Tony. Peter and Tony in the comic books don't really get along well. Okay, so Peter did work for Tony for the longest time, and he never really went Mr. Stark. He went boss. It's like, how's it going, boss? Do you need me to do this for you? Because, he was grateful, because Tony's like, hey, you can live in Avengers Tower because Molten Man burned down yours and Aunt May's house. So his wife, him and his wife, and his Aunt May lived in Avengers Tower around this time. So he was a little grateful, but he didn't really like Tony a whole lot. He was kind of turned off by him because Tony was kind of a dick. And obviously, Peter would know, Peter knows a dick when he sees one. I mean, his buddy was Harry Osborn, okay? So, yes, this would drive a wedge in between these two. And kind of set off the fact that, I like the guy, but Tony's kind of an arrogant dick, drive that wedge. Drive an actual wedge between these two. And it would also make Peter look less like a fucking sidekick to fucking Iron Man. And maybe you will hear a lot less people trying to compare him to fucking Nightwing of all things. I'm sorry, if you sit there and go, oh, Spider-Man is just like Nightwing, you are fucking retarded and I hope you fucking get AIDS. I'm kidding. I don't wish AIDS upon anybody. But I hope you step on a Lego. I'm sorry. I can't. Half of this is satire, folks. Half of this is fucking satire. It's up to you guys to be the judge on that one. But, okay, back to the subject. No. The difference between Peter and Dick Grayson in the comic books, because I might as well establish this real quick. Dick was a foul-mouthed asshole that did a lot of shitty crap, argued with his mentor, because his mentor... Actually, no, they weren't completely 100% on that, weren't they? I mean, in the Titans comics, he just, quit being Robin because, Jason Todd. And then, further down the line, they were like, oh, well, there was a fight, and then, he was fired. And I'm like, okay, that's something, I guess. But, yeah. But let's talk about... Yeah, I'll talk about that in the next video. Because I'm going to let this video stay on its own. Alright, so... Yes, that's the synopsis of this. If people were trying to pay an homage to, I get it. People like who they like, right? But there's a difference between having opinions and then, ignoring facts. A lot of these people who make opinions saying, oh, in my opinion, Tom Holland's the most comic accurate Spider-Man, you guys are ignoring the facts that he really isn't. Because... I'll tell you this. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield got fucking close to be more comic accurate than Tom has. And I will happily explain that in some other fucking video. Maybe with some gameplay. But, this video is probably kind of long. Let's see. Oh, it's 24 minutes. Okay, but, that's just the synopsis of it. And, yes. They race swapped Ned Leeds, and anyone who knows me knows absolutely 100% against race swapping. And they race swapped Miles Morales. Now, you guys are probably like, you know what, King Reaper, why is this such a big deal to you? Why does this upset you so much? Okay, I will explain it. If they ever establish Miles Morales, actually put Miles Morales in the fucking movie, or in the movies, what are they going to do now? You gave his personality, you gave one of his side characters to Peter. You literally fucking did. So now you guys are going to either have to be forced to recreate this whole new story with Miles, build a whole new personality, which, by the way, they already did that with the video game, and they already did that with Into the Spider-Verse. But, you know, you can't really redo that now, can you? And you're going to have to redo Genki. Because you have no choice at this point, because you already fucked yourselves. You guys literally put your guys' selves in this corner and got railed by Kevin Feige. Like, he probed a good character away from you. And I'm going to say this. If you were just going to give Miles' his personality to Peter, why wouldn't you just put Miles on the big screen? I mean, fuck it. I don't, we didn't really need another Spider-Man. And, you know, Sony could have kept Andrew Garfield as their version of Peter Parker and had Miles in there. And then, you know, further down the line when you guys did your fucking multiversal saga, you could have brought Andrew's version of Spider-Man into that universe after you meld them together, and the rest is history. Especially if your whole plan is to, you know, fucking buy Sony Pictures or meld those universes together so you can have a whole big story while having a good partnership. Because, you know, that could have made sense. But, you know, you guys didn't do that now, did you? And yes, this worries me because, you know, I'm going to say this. I don't ever want to see a live-action Miles Morales. You gave me a live-action Miles Morales. I'm sorry, you already did. Shame that you got the color wrong, but, you know, at the same time, you can't undo the bullshit you did. Maybe if you give Peter, you know, 3 fucking films and, you know, grab the memory wiping machine from Men in Black, and then just keep those 3 other Spider-Man films where he actually acts like Peter Parker. Maybe, just maybe, you can add Miles Morales in the MCU, but you guys can't fucking do that now. I'm sorry, it seems a little highly unlikely in my eyes. If you're able to finesse it, I will gladly fist pump you, Kevin Feige, personally, if you actually does that. If you actually manage to do that. I will fly to you with a Apache helicopter and give you a fist pump. Alright? And then I'll tickle your toes. Because you know what? You managed to do the impossible in my eyes. So you deserve your toes to be tickled. But anyways, like I said, I was choosing violence, and this isn't Peter Parker. Thank you for watching my video where I beat a dead horse. And if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below. What should I do next? Maybe you guys want to hear some of my other hot takes. Maybe, just maybe, I might say something foul. Anyways, I'll talk to you all later. Peace out!